जय श्री राम। सो आज हम लोग कैंटो 90 स्टार्ट करेंगे. सो व्हाट इज द समरी? कैंटो 90. Leaving his party a couple of miles away on this side of the hermitage, Bharat enters it with Vashishta and Shatrughan. After exchange of compliments between sages Vashishta and Bharadwaj, Bharat bows down at the feet of the latter, who inquires of his health and seeks to know his mind about Sri Ram. Bharat thereupon remorsefully apprises him of his intention to bring Ram back from the forest and questions him about his whereabouts. To this the sage replies that Sri Ram was sojourning on Mount Chitrakoot and advises Bharat to see the latter the following morning. So that is the summary of the chapter. Now we begin with the chapter. Having reached the precincts of the hermitage of Bharadwaj and leaving all his people only a couple of miles away on this side of the hermitage, so as not to cause disturbance to the hermits living peacefully there, Bharat, a jewel among men, for his part, who knew what is right, proceeded further with his counselors on foot, placing sage Vashishta, his family priest, ahead and putting only a pair of silk garments with a loin cloth and outer covering, laying aside his weapons and ornaments, etc. Bidding the aforesaid counsellors stay behind, the moment the celebrated Bharadwaj was clearly in sight, Bharat then proceeded at the heels of Vashishta, his family priest. At the very sight of Vashishta, Bharadwaj, who practiced great austerities, at once hurriedly rose from his seat, asking his pupils to fetch water to wash the hands of the distinguished guests with. Uniting in embrace with Vashishta and greeted by Bharat, the highly glorious sage inferred him to be a son of Dashrath. Offering to the two guests in order of seniority, one after the another, water to wash their hands and feet with, and also fruits afterwards, Bharadwaj, who knows what is right, made enquiries concerning the welfare of the family of each, and also whether all was well with the city of Ayodhya, the army, the exchequer, the king's allies and ministers. Knowing as he did Dashrath to be dead, he made no inquiries concerning the king. Vashishta and Bharat in return inquired whether all was well with his body, sacred fires, pupils, trees, deer and birds. Having admitted that it was so, the highly illustrious Bharadwaj for his part replied to Bharat as follows: impelled as he was by the ties of affection that he bore to Sri Ram, a sign of Raghu. What motive could you have in coming all the way to this place, busy as you must have been ruling the kingdom of Ayodhya? Please tell me all this, for my mind is not getting cleared of doubts about your intentions towards Sri Ram. Seeking to enjoy the kingdom rightfully belonging to Sri Ram without any thorn in your side, I hope you do not intend to do any bodily harm in this forest to Lakshman, his younger brother, and the highly illustrious Prince Sri Ram himself, the destroyer of enemies and the promoter of joy in this world, whom Kaushalya gave birth to, and who, having been urged, they say, by his father through the instrumentality of the latter's wife Kaikeyi, in the following words, dwelt in the forest for 14 years, was exiled to the forest with his younger brother Lakshman and wife Sita to the forest for a long term. I am ruined if your holiness too, who is omniscient, reckons me as such. I cannot even think of any harm having proceeded from me to Sri Ram. Therefore, please do not say much harsh words to me, spoken to As aforesaid, Bharat had replied in this manner, "Neither is that which my mother said during my absence agreeable to me, nor am I pleased with that which she has done, nor again have I even now accepted her word asking me to enjoy the sovereignty of Ayodhya. I have, on the other hand, come to take that tiger among men back to Ayodhya after having propitiated him, and also to bow down at his feet, believing me as such to have come with the aforesaid intention to be gracious to me. You be gracious to me. Also kindly tell me, Venerable Sir, where Emperor Ram may be at present." Solicited by the priests, who had obviously joined the party in the meantime, headed by Vashishta, the Venerable Bharadwaj thereupon graciously spoke to the celebrated Bharat as follows: "Service to your elders, as also self-control and walking in the footsteps of your virtuous, this is worthy of you, descended as you are in the line of Raghu, O tiger among men. I already knew by my yogic power what existed in your mind. All the same, I questioned you as though I knew nothing, in order that your resolution may be strengthened, in order further to enhance your renown beyond measures. I know where Sri Ram, who knows what is right, is staying, accompanied by Sita and followed by Lakshman. Your brother is dwelling at present on the great Chitrakoot mountain. You will certainly proceed to that area tomorrow. Halt here with your counselors today. Grant this desire of mine, O highly sagacious prince, knowing how to fulfill the desired object of your friends and well-wishers." Thereupon Bharat, who had broad outlook and whose reality as a devotee of Sri Ram had now come to be known, replied as follows: "So be it." Nay, the prince forthwith made up his mind to stay in that hermitage during the night. Thus ends Canto 90 in the AYODHYAKAND of the glorious Ramayan of Valmiki, the work of a rishi and the oldest epic. Now we come to Canto 91. The summary: the hospitality shown by sage Bharadwaj, who had acquired rare mystic powers by virtue of his austerities to Bharat, his army and entourage, the kind of which could not be shown even by a ruler of the entire globe. That is the summary. Now let us start the chapter. The celebrated sage then invited to a hospitable reception Bharat, the son of Kaikeyi, who had made up his mind to stay in that very hermitage for the night. Bharat, for his part, said to Bharadwaj, "Sure enough, the kind of hospitality which could possibly be arranged in a forest has already been shown to you by you to us just now in the form of water to wash our feet and hands with the fruit and roots." Bharadwaj forthwith replied to Bharat as follows, laughing heartily as it were: "I know you will be full of affection to me. As such, you are likely to be pleased with anything and everything that is offered to you. I, however, only wish to feed this army of yours, and you ought to do that which my pleasure lies, O jewel among men. Moreover, wherefore did you come here encamping the army at a distance from my hermitage? Why did you not turn up here, army and all, O jewel among men?" Bharat, with folded hands, replied as follows to the sage, whose only wealth was his asceticism: "I did not turn up with the army for fear of displeasing you, O venerable sage. In fact, distance should always be maintained from ascetics, lest they be disturbed in their own lands by a king or a king's son under similar circumstances. Your holiness, be Best specimens of horses as well as men and excellent elephants in rut are following in my wake, occupying a large area. I came away from that place where the troops have been encamped all alone, accompanied by sage Vashisht, lest they should destroy the trees, foul the waters and land, as well as the huts in the hermitage. Commanded by the eminent sage in the following words, let the army be brought hither. Bharat forthwith caused the army to be duly brought all the way to the hermitage accordingly. Entering the fire sanctuary, sipping water thrice according to the Shruti text with the recitation of the divine numbers for self-purification, and wiping the lips twice according to the various injunction, to the Vedic injunction, the sage next invoked in the following words Vishwakarma, the architect of gods, for providing hospitality to the army of Prince Bharat. I invoke God Vishwakarma, who is also the divine carpenter. I wish to provide hospitality to the army of Prince Bharat. Let everything be got ready in that connection for me. I further invoke the presence of the three gods, viz. Yam, Varun and Kuber, who are the guardians of the spheres headed by Indra, the ruler of gods. I wish to provide hospitality to the army of Prince Bharat. Let everything be got ready for me towards that end. Let all the rivers that flow in an easterly direction as well as those flowing in a westerly direction on the surface of the earth as also in the aerial region meet today in this tract of land. Let some of those rivers bear along Myraya a kind of wine made from date palms, etc. Others highly refined sura, another species of wine made from jaggery, honey and flour, and still others cool water, delicious in the juice of sugar cane. I also invoke the presence of the celestial Gandharvas, Vishwavasu, Ha, Ha, and Hu, and even so all the celestial nymphs along with the other celestial Gandharvas. I invoke the Apsara named Gratachi and Vishwachi, Mirakeshi, Alambusa, Nagadatta, and Hema, as also Soma, who has taken up her abode on a mountain called Mahindra, as well as all the nymphs that wait upon Indra, the ruler of paradise, as also the dancing girls that wait upon Brahma in Brahmalok, along with their teacher Tumburu, and all external appendages such as musical instruments. In the same way, let that celestial grove known by the name of Kaitraratha, presided over by Kubera, the guardian of the northern quarter, which is located in the land of Uttara Kurus, and the trees of which are clothed with leaves in the form of heavenly raiment and jewels and perpetuality, bear fruits in the form of heavenly damsels, actually appear at this very spot. Let the glorious moon god, the deity presiding over the annual plants, place at my disposal abundant excellent food of every variety, consisting of dishes requiring mastication as well as those that can be gulped without mastication, nay, those that can be sucked and those that require to be licked, and also lovely garlands dropped straight from trees, also drinks such as wine and meats of various kinds. So did the sage of noble vow, who is rich in concentration of mind and endowed with matchless glory, to utter words of invocation pronounced according to the rules of phonetics and accented according to the rules of grammar. Even as the sage invoked the aforesaid gods with his mind, sitting with his face turned towards the east, his palms joined together in supplication, all those deities that had been invoked by the sage came one by one before him. Thereupon a cool breeze, which was most delightful to the touch and which wiped out sweats through mere contact, blew gently, touching the Malaya and the Dardura mountains clothed with forests of sandalwood trees. Then fell down thick showers of heavenly flowers, and the sound of celestial kettle drums was heard in all quarters. Nay, excellent breezes began incessantly to blow, and bevies of celestial nymphs began to dance. Heavenly Gandharvas beautifully sang, and Venas gave forth melodies. That sound of vocal and instrumental music which rose and fell at intervals was soft and of moderate pitch and endowed with the virtue of a uniform measure of time, penetrated into heaven, earth, and the ears of living beings. While that heavenly melody, agreeable to the ears of men, came in that way, the army of Bharat beheld the handiwork of Vishwakarma. The entire stretch of land within a radius of 40 miles not only turned even but was also carpeted with many patches of fresh grass resembling blue cat's eyes, gems in hue. In that land sprang up Bale, Kapitha, Panasa, Amlaki, and mango trees adorned with fruits. Nay, from the territory of Uttara Kurus came the grove, rich in products worthy of being enjoyed by heavenly beings, as well as delightful stream hemmed in with a number of trees growing on its banks. There stood up white mansions, each consisting of 4 rooms, as well as stables for elephants and horses, and charming city gates with mansions and palaces. There also stood a royal palace looking like a white cloud and provided with lovely arched doorway, nay, decorated with white garlands and sprinkled with exquisite scents. It was quadrilateral in shape, commodious, furnished with couches, seats, and palanquins, supplied with all delicious drinks, and provided with excellent food and clothing. Victuals of every description had been kept ready there, as well as cleaned vessels free from dirt. All kinds of seats had been arranged at proper places, and the palace looked charming, and superb couches duly covered with counterpanes. Permitted by the eminent sage Bharadwaj, Prince Bharat, son of Kaikeyi, who was distinguished by unusually long arms, duly entered that palace richly stocked with precious stones. All the aforesaid councillors, accompanied by family priests, also followed suit and were filled with delight to see that excellent get-up of houses. Along with the councillors, Bharat went clockwise round the excellent royal throne, as well as round the whisk made from the tail of a yak, and the royal umbrella kept there as if round a sovereign. Bowing down low to Sri Ram as though the latter was seated on it, he paid homage to the throne itself, and taking the whisk sat down on the seat meant for the chief minister. All the councillors and family priests too sat down in order of precedence. Then sat down the generalissimo, and afterwards the officer in charge of the encampment. Then after a short while, streams having milk thickened with rice in place of mud flowed past Bharat on that side at the command of Bharadwaj. On both the banks of these streams rose excellent and lovely houses, plastered with lime and brought into being by the grace of the Brahman sage Bharadwaj. Nay, during the very hour arrived there 20,000 women adorned with excellent jewels and sent by Brahma, the Creator. There also came 20,000 women decked with ornaments of gold, gems, and pearls and coral sent by Kubera. There also arrived from the Nandana grove in paradise 20,000 celestial nymphs, embraced by whom a man looked as though seized with a fit of insanity. The following chiefs of Gandharva, Narad, Tumbura, and Gopa, who shone like the sun because of their splendor, began to sing before Bharat. Alambusa, Misra Kesi, Purandirika, and Vamana started dancing in the presence of Bharat under orders of Bharadwaj. Those celestial flowers which are found solely among gods and those who exist in the grove named Kaitra Ratha, belonging to Kuber, the god of riches, was seen at Prayag thanks to the spiritual might of Bharadwaj. The bell trees assumed the role of playing on clay tom-toms. Vibhitaka trees picked up a pair of cymbals known by the name of Samaya in order to strike them so as to keep time, and people trees played the role of dancers thanks to the spiritual might of Bharadwaj. Then Deodas, Palmyra, and Tilak trees along with Tamala trees arrived there, highly rejoiced, assuming the forms of hunchbacks and dwarfs to render service to Bharat. Simsapas, Amlakis, Jambus, Malati, Malika, and Jati, and whatever other trees bearing female names and creepers there were in the forest, took up their abode in the hermitage of Bharadwaj, assuming the form of young women in order to be able to serve Bharat. They said to the troops, "Drink wine, O soldiers, addicted to drinking, and drink milk thickened with rice, O troops stricken with hunger. Let meats also eminently fit for sacrifice be eaten as you will. One will get whatever one seeks." A batch of 7 or 8 young women bathed every single man on the charming river banks after first daubing his body with a fragrant paste of oil seeds and then rubbing off the dirt. There also appeared on the scene women with big eyes, kneading the feet of men, nay, wiping off moisture on their body. The lovely women gave them delicious beverages to drink in seclusion. The keepers created and detailed by Bharadwaj of the animals carrying Bharat's men on their backs duly fed the horses, elephants, donkeys, camels, as well as the bullocks with articles fit for their consumption. Coaxing the animals carrying the gallant warriors of Ikshvaku's race on their back, the aforesaid very mighty keepers fed them with pieces of sugarcane as well as with fried grains of paddy soaked in honey. The groom did not recognize the horse in his charge, nor did the elephant keeper recognize his charge. The aforesaid army appeared intoxicated, maddened, and enraptured on that spot. Seated with all desired enjoyments and smeared with red sandal paste, the troops, attended by hosts of celestial nymphs, uttered the following words: "We shall neither return to Ayodhya nor go to Dandak forest. Let all be well with Bharat, but because of whom we are enjoying heavenly delights here on earth, and let lasting happiness be the lot of Sri Ram, as a foretaste of whose blessed sight we have secured these heavenly enjoyments." So did the foot soldiers as well as those mounted on horses and elephants and their keepers too, who in their ebriety considered themselves independent. On receiving such attentions from the sage, uttered the aforesaid words. Extremely pleased, rejoiced to see the untold affluence and power of the sage, those men on that spot who had followed Bharat in his journey to Chitrakoot to bring Sri Ram back to Ayodhya in their thousands, thundered and said, "This is heaven indeed." Adorned with garlands, the troops in their thousands ran in every direction, dancing and laughing and singing. In spite of their having partaken of that ambrosia like food, their mind felt inclined to eat again the moment they saw those excellent dishes. Servants and maidservants also, the wives of the troops as well as the troops themselves, they all felt highly delighted, nay, all were supplied with new set of clothes. Elephants and donkeys and camels too, as well as bullocks and horses, nay, even deer and bird in that region were fully nourished, hence they coveted nothing else. No one in that area was clad in soiled attire, hungry or even untidy, nor was any man seen with his hair soiled with dust. Struck with wonder, people beheld these places all round in thousands, gold vessels decorated with floral flags and filled with excellent seasoned articles of food prepared from bulbs known by the name Varahi, flavored with trichotis, ajovan, and well boiled in the decoction of fruits, as well as with flavorsome boiled pulses and spotless white boiled rice. The wells in the precincts of the forest around the hermitage of Bharadwaj had their mud transformed into milk thickened with rice and sugar. The cows in that region were transformed into cows of plenty, and the trees dripped honey. The bigger wells with flights of stairs got filled with myria and were banked with heaps of dainty meat of deer, peacocks and fowls dressed in intensely heated earthen vessels. Thousands of gold vessels containing boiled rice, lakhs of gold cauldrons holding seasoned articles of food, and millions of plates also made of gold were seen there. There appeared clay pans, smaller earthen vessels, and big broad-mouthed clay vessels full of curds duly spiced with dry ginger, etc., and tanks full of fragrant buttermilk tinged yellow with saffron and prepared a few hours back, as well as of buttermilk flavored with cumin seeds, others full of white curds, and still others of milk, as also heaps of sugar. On the stairs of descent to the rivers, people saw kept in large pans crushed emblic, myrobalance, and powdered fragrant substances, and varied articles such as oils, hot water, etc., useful for bath. They further beheld at every place in that area bundles of fresh white twigs with their one end crushed for being used as toothbrush, as well as the paste of white sandalwood for being used as shampoo, kept in round covered wooden cases, perfectly cleaned mirrors, as well as piles of textiles, as also thousands of pairs of wooden sandals and leather shoes, small caskets for containing collyrium, combs, brushes for combing moustaches and beards, nay, umbrellas and bows, armor and different kinds of beds and seats, tanks full of water worth drinking, feed for donkeys, camels, elephants and horses, as well as tanks provided with excellent descent, where one could easily take a plunge full of lilies and lotuses resembling the sky in hue, containing limpid water and pleasing to bathe in, and heaps of tender grass resembling the blue cat's eye gem in hue for consumption of animals. The aforesaid men were amazed to see that entertainment, wonderful like a dream, provided so long for Bharat and by the eminent sage Bharadwaj. While the people that had followed Bharat in his journey to Chitrakoot were still busy enjoying, as aforesaid, in that lovely hermitage of Bharadwaj, the delights provided by the sage, like so many gods in their Nandana grove in paradise, that night passed away. Taking leave of Bharadwaj, those rivers, as well as the Gandharvas and all the lovely women, viz. The celestial nymphs, returned even as they had come. The people, however, remained flushed with and drunk with wine, much in the same way even at dawn. They stood smeared with the exquisite paste of aloe wood and sandalwood, even as before, and the excellent celestial garlands of various kinds lay strewn here and there separately, as fresh as at at the beginning, crushed as they were by men through constant use for the whole night. Thus ends Canto 91 in the AYODHYAKAND of the glorious Ramayan of Valmiki, the work of a rishi and the oldest epic. Jai Shri Ram.